Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just one test of the mic. Barbara, can you hear me?
Yes, hi Laura.
Okay, all right. Well, we have a treat for you tonight on A Woman's Perspective. Before we get to our special guest who's on the phone, I want to tell you what's going on at Nicholls State University. The Louisiana Center for Women in Government is hosting the Louisiana Girls Leadership Academy. And since Sunday, we have had so many events. We've visited the Legislative Women's Caucus at the Capitol. We've been introduced on the Senate side. We've had many of the legislative women talk to us about how they ran for office, about how you pass a bill, etc. We went to the City Council today. Councilman Chip Badeaux, Councilwoman Connie Johnson, Councilman Eddie Hebert, and the council administrative leader, Jennifer Morvant, helped us understand the difference between city government and state government. And also today we had a special treat with 3 actors, 2 from Los Angeles and 1 from Houma, Brett Laperouche from Houma, who's in the movie being filmed in New Orleans, 21 Jump Street, Bear Badeaux from California, and Crystal Rivers, both of who just finished movies. Bear, a horror movie, Bloody Mary 3D, Crystal, The Ghoul, Stephen King's The Ghoul, and they critiqued the girls on interviewing. And now we come to the closing ceremonies tomorrow, where the girls will compete in their service projects. And our guest on the phone is our keynote speaker. Of all people, we have a treat for you. It's Barbara Bush. Barbara Bush is not just the first daughter of President and Mrs. George Bush. Barbara is a leader, a patriot, and a community activist in her own right. She has been involved with UNICEF, and she has been involved. I'm going to let her tell you about all the things that she's been involved in, because I was amazed. She graduated from Yale a few years ago, and she's just come on the world scene, not just the United States scene or her own state scene or the Texas scene. Barbara, are you there?
Yes, hi Laura.
How are you? Will you tell us about some of the things, well, you can tell us about all of them, all the things that you're involved in, because you're the role model that we're going to show these girls tomorrow.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm excited to meet those girls tomorrow. I have lately been spending all my time on a nonprofit around service as well, so I'm excited that a lot of the programming with these great girls is around service. And I started a nonprofit 2 years ago with a few colleagues called Global Health Corps. And what we're trying to do is engage outstanding recent college graduates and young professionals to serve in global health. And so we want really bright, smart young people to see that they have a role to play in making change in all the global health challenges that we hear about, whether it be about HIV or diabetes or any chronic illnesses. So it's a fellowship program, and it's a year-long fellowship program focused on service in health. And basically what I do is I work with outstanding young people that serve every day in communities focused on making a difference in the health and the lives of the people that live there. And really it's essentially a leadership development program, very similar to LGLA, in that we're working with young people now, but we're very much investing in what they're doing because we're excited for them to be leaders throughout their career. So I'm working with young people now, but I know that everything that they do for the rest of their lives is going to be making change in global health.
Well, and healthcare is one of the biggest problems that we have worldwide. And I'm glad to hear that, Barbara, because we will have something else in common. In addition to the Louisiana Girls Leadership Academy, we are initiating the National Girls Leadership Academy, and the entire Louisiana delegation is going to be the honorary host committee with, do you know Congressman Rodney Alexander? Rodney
yes.
and Senator Mary Landrieu are going to be the honorary co-chairs. And just as we have a service project for the Louisiana Girls Leadership Academy, we will have one for the National Girls Leadership Academy. Right now, we're focused on energy and the environment, and you know that too is a problem. But our the next subject we're going to tackle is health care. So we may be meeting on that front. You global, me United States, but we still may be meeting on that front.
That's great. I'm super excited to know that that's the next project, by the way.
Well, and tell us about what you did with UNICEF.
So I got involved with UNICEF when I had just graduated from college. I was 22, and before I got involved with UNICEF, I ended up moving to South Africa and working in a children's hospital. And through that work, I met a lot of folks that worked with UNICEF in Southern Africa. And so I ended up interning with UNICEF in Botswana and really seeing very much on-the-ground field work of really dedicated people working to make sure that children, in that case in Botswana, had access to education and healthcare and were living in safe environments and had great nutrition. And so it was a very much on-the-ground focus, and that experience really shaped where my career went, obviously, now that I'm working in global health. And when I moved back to the United States, my sister and I realized that a lot of our friends and a lot of our peer group were also interested in learning more about what they could do to work with and support kids around the world. And so my sister and I ended up working together with UNICEF to start this committee called the Next Generation Steering Committee. And what we are specifically doing is trying to make sure that people in our age group, so, early to late 20s, see that they have a role to play. And it doesn't matter if you're living in New York or in Louisiana or Botswana, you can support UNICEF. And so we do a lot of different awareness-raising events, mainly in New York right now, to get people in our age group that are already excited, to get them involved, and so that they can see how they can support the work that UNICEF is doing in the world, really.
Well, Barbara, one thing that I'm interested in, and Jenna has been here twice, and yes, and we just really connected. So I can't wait to meet you.
Me too.
But you graduated in humanities from Yale. How did you and Jenna get involved in healthcare and this global front and all that y'all are doing for humanity?
Honestly, we were really lucky in that when we were growing up, we tagged along with our parents to any meetings that they went on, and I was really lucky that I got to travel with my parents when they were living in D.C. And obviously working in government. Anytime that I could, I went on trips with them, and in the United States and abroad, and especially traveling abroad. I ended up, when I was 21, traveling to Africa with my parents, and it was when the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR, was taking place. And so basically the United States had just passed a lot of legislation around this, around supporting work on HIV around the world. And I got to travel with my parents. And when I was on that trip, we went to 5 countries in Africa, and it was very compelling. And I quickly got interested in healthcare work because I was meeting with a lot of people that had HIV in Africa and whose lives were completely changed because they, through this legislation, were able to get on medical treatment. And instead of thinking that having HIV was a death sentence, they all of a sudden had medication and had a life again. And just talking through, seeing this change and talking with people that were benefiting from this type of health intervention, I got really interested in thinking through how health interventions could change lives around the world. And I think through that exposure, and my parents were very generous in letting me talk with anyone that, or tag along to any meetings that they were having with real experts in health that were focused on changing lives. I was really interested in, and just couldn't stop being more fascinated constantly. And so I really credit them for being so generous and giving me the opportunity to be exposed to a lot of different opportunities when I was younger.
Well, I also credit you and Jenna with having the courage, I guess, to get involved at something in third world countries, and also in an issue that affects our country as well. But I absolutely credit you with the courage to do what you're doing.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, to be totally honest, this is the work that makes me really happy, and I love what I'm doing. So and I think most people that work in any service sphere or any opportunity when they get to give back, it's hard not to do that type of work because it's very personally rewarding.
Well, tomorrow you're going to speak to the girls at the Louisiana Girls Leadership Academy. These girls who were a part of a competitive process to attend the Louisiana Girls Leadership Academy. We accepted 70 of the applicants from around the state. And tomorrow, Barbara will be the keynote. She will arrive around 2:30 at the Nicholls State University Ballroom to meet and greet you, so that we hope you will come out to meet her. And Barbara, can you tell us just a little bit about what you're going to talk to the girls about? Because we certainly have told them you are the role model that we want to show them.
Well, I can't wait to talk to the girls, and honestly, I'm just excited to hear about the service projects that they're working on and everything that they've learned these past few days with LGLA. And what I'm excited to talk about really is the young people that I've gotten to work with in a variety of different aspects, whether it be with Global Health Corps or work that I did previously in education. And I'm really just going to be telling stories about young people that I think are doing amazing things that I don't doubt that these young people are already changing the world, and they will continue to do so with their lives. And I think the reason that I'm excited to talk to the girls in Louisiana about that is because I actually think that their experience parallels the young people's stories that I'm going to tell about, because I think these girls are going to be change makers throughout our lives. And I'm excited in 20 years when these girls are older and have made they've been change makers, whether it be in education or government or global health. It's going to be incredible to hear their stories and what they've been able to accomplish as leaders in their lives.
Well, we're proud to have focused on girls entering the 8th and 9th grade and the 10th and 11th grade, and to marry leadership development with public policy education, and to promote an interest in both public policy and public service, because apathy is the greatest disease in the United States. And we can tackle that, too, with global health. So, Barbara, I absolutely welcome you tomorrow. Councilman Chip Badeaux will be with Badeaux Limousines to pick you up and bring you to the Dauncero House. And we thank Representative Damon Badeaux for hosting you at the Dauncero House in the governor's suite. So I hope that you'll have a great time there and at the ballroom tomorrow afternoon.
Great. Well, I can't wait. I'm so excited to be in Louisiana tomorrow, and I'm so excited to get to meet you and all the girls that are going through this program. It's really wonderful, and I'm thrilled to be there.
Thank you, Barbara. And we invite our audience to come out tomorrow, 2:30 at the Nicholls State University Ballroom. Meet the girls in the Louisiana Girls Leadership Academy. See their public service projects on energy and the environment. Meet the fabulous judges that we're bringing in, and meet Barbara Bush and hear her as she gives her message to girls. Barbara Bush, a role model for all. First daughter of the President and Mrs. George Bush, patriot, leader, and community activist. Thank you, Barbara, and good night to everyone, and we'll see you next week.